up the middle, and that's what Union Hill's trying to do. They're trying to be successful in the middle of that field to open up things on the outside.
Third down and 4 from the 36-yard line. The Hillers need to move the football out just to the 40-yard line. They have not accumulated a first down yet tonight. And they will not get a first down on this play. It's going to be stopped shy of the line of scrimmage. David Cruz making the tackle.
You know, that's just good football by Hoboken. As you see, Union Hill comes down and unbalanced, and you got the Hoboken line shifting at the last second, everybody running to different spots, and that's coaching. Everybody gets to the position, and now what Union Hill thought might be an advantage isn't anymore, because Hoboken has enough guys on that side of the field.
Quader Latson was also in on the play, and a young man who we've seen quite a bit of so far, Robert Pena, who's really putting on quite a display. He drives Bates back to his 24-yard line, mishandles, and he's tackled down at the 23-yard line. Great coverage by Jerry Troncoso.
Jerry Troncoso on the tackle.
Well, that was almost disaster for Hoboken, but again, a great punt by Union Hill. That's one thing tonight that they have had really a lot of success doing. And almost disaster for Union Hill as Bates fields this punt and bobbles it. Luckily for Hoboken, he's able to just get it back at the last second.
First and 10, Hoboken.
Otherwise, Union Hill would have gotten their first break of the night.
A sorely needed break, 4:47 to go in the first half, 14-0. The Red Wings lead this contest. John Hester along with Anthony Fusilli and Paul Giorgio. Glad you could join us on Cablevision and the Madison Square Garden Network. First and 10 for the Red Wings, and right up the middle goes Valdez, and almost broke that one. Tripped up at the very last second. It was number 11, Yasiel Rivera.
Well, Juan Valdez all of a sudden showing head coach Ed Stinson he could be a feature back. So, you know, somebody gets hurt like Sosa, who's been the feature back, and this opens up an opportunity for Valdez to show what he's made of, and he has stepped up to the plate.
This is a methodical type offense, and they are putting on a display that's quite impressive. Not attractive, but impressive. Valdez left side, and Valdez.
Actually, that's Sosa. Okay, I was confused. I thought
Rivera on the tackle.
Maybe it was Valdez as he jogs off the field. I saw Sosa on the bottom of that pile. I'm so used to seeing him carry the ball. And you're right. It was Valdez. You see, Sosa lead blocking tonight. I mean, that's something that he hasn't done a lot. And they're asking him to do.
Shows the diversity of that young man, a little banged up. Won't get the football as often as he normally would, but he's pitching in and contributing. Blocking, second down and 5. And up the middle again they go. Very tricky. We should mention Ralph Gallo. I don't know if the folks at home are having a hard time following the ball, but very crafty when it comes to handing that football off.
He hides the ball well. He's not a tall quarterback, so you really don't get to see it at all. You know, if you're one of those linemen up front, it's very difficult to see who's got that football. That's got to help.
Taquan Foster with the carry. Shy of a first down by 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 3 from the 42-yard line with 3:05 to go in the first half. A first half that is moving along at a very brisk pace.
And Ralph Gallo getting better each week. Only a junior.
Taquan Foster behind Sosa, and Foster will have the first down out near midfield.
Well, Foster, just with his strength alone, was able to battle his way towards the sidelines, and he dragged Don Garza with him. And you see Sosa again lead blocking, and Foster, really no one touches him until finally 5 or 6 yards into that Union Hill defense. And that's not good if you're trying to stop this Hoboken offense.
Ruled out of bounds at the 48-yard line, 2 yards shy of midfield. 2:49 to go, and you know that Union Hill wants a stop before the end of the half as Foster breaks across midfield and is tackled by Ozori at the 45-yard line.
Carl's a good, strong tackler. Brings down Foster after about 3-yard gain, I would say. You see number 44 come in and perfect tackle. You see that UC in the middle of the field, and that's because Union City has two high schools, Emerson and Union Hill, and they both share this football field.
Big hit applied. Coming up to make the hit was John Leonore. Not enough to stop the first down run by Ira Bell Guilford, but a big hit nonetheless.
Well, the Leonore brothers take pride in their defense. Tough kids. And that name, Leonore, is a very special name up here in Union Hill.
Hoboken's version of the hurry-up offense, Irv Reyes. Everybody getting a chance to carry the football here in the first half for the Red Wings.
Irv Reyes is a very talented defensive player for Hoboken. Thought he'd be more of a factor on offense this year, but
Second down.
hasn't been one of the featured players in this Hoboken offense. Irv Reyes' brother, though, was a very talented player in this offense. That was Terrell Dortch, who now is playing at Michigan State, running back.
Gallo to throw the football, looking for Bates downfield, and he juggles and can't hang on. That'll stop the clock with 1:33 to go.
Well, credit Don Garza. Everybody else seemed to be fake, but Garza was back there, and he was just able to get in Bates's eyesight to knock that ball down.
And we talked about Ralph Gallo in the open and how he's asked not to lose the game, which he's thrown 3 passes in the first half, and this is an accurate pass, hard to do.
And you know what? Like you said, the way he hides the ball really can set up an offense and cause a defense to kind of lose where the football was. As he faked the handoff, rolled out, but Bates was not able to bring it in. But it was a good pass, you're right. And Ed Stinson said, you know, we've had a lot of talented quarterbacks here, and Ralph's coming along slow, but he's coming along, and I like what I see of him. He's only a junior, and he's going to be good for us. Now we have moving from both teams. Union Hill went first, then Hoboken moved, so let's see who gets caught with the infraction here. Yep, they're going to say Union Hill went first. And you see, no one's ever happy with an official's call, John. No one. Both coaching staffs not happy.
And Joe Rotundi, as you see, he knows if he can escape this first half, he might be in good shape. Only down 14-0. 93 seconds to go. It's a 3rd and 1 instead of a 3rd and 6. Irv Reyes bounces off a tackle attempt from Leonore, who then recovers. Helping make the stop was Jose Munoz.
Irv Reyes.
And obviously Ed Stinson requiring his big lineman up front to pull and sweep, and he gets a nice block by Mario Rodriguez, who leads the way for Reyes. I mean, if you're a lineman at Hoboken, you better have your track shoes on, because you are not just moving 2 steps on every play. You're running cross field.
Gallo to throw, deep downfield, has his man, and it's a touchdown for Sosa.
Touchdown, Hoboken.
Well, they used him as a decoy for most of the night, and all of a sudden, Giovanni Sosa got healthy real quick and ran down the sideline and caught a perfect pass from Ralph Gallo. And that is a crushing blow to this Union Hill team with 1:19 to go. Had to be a little bit of a shock to that Union Hill team to see 24 sprinting down the sidelines.
And 24 will be the man who holds for Hassini. And the kick is up and good.
Hassini's extra point is good.
And it is now 21-0. And Anthony, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You don't get a chance as a quarterback for Coach Stinson to ever really get any kind of rhythm, and here he is making a perfect throw.
Gallo not fooling around. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. He just lofted it out there, and Sosa ran under it. And as we saw tonight, some Hoboken receivers dropping the football, but there you see why Giovanni Sosa, a starter last year for Ed Stinson, so important to this offense because he makes big plays, and he can be counted on.
And that's a play that Hoboken has used very successfully through the years, sneaking the back out of the backfield.
Well, Joe Rotundi told me coming into the game, you know, I've been the student for 15 years. I played for this man. I've done everything you can. He's very special to me, but I would love to just say that now I am his peer and I'd be able to play on the same level as the Hoboken football program. And that's something he's trying to build now at Union Hill. And hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was Hoboken.
Took 11 months. Richie Bates actually will kick off. So I wonder if Hassini may have been shaken up on the extra point. Bates with a bit of a squib. And I don't know if that's what Coach Rotundi had in mind. Robert Pena, not used to carrying the football. Might as well give it a shot, no?
Yeah, I mean, maybe in his mind he didn't know how much time was left and he wanted to make sure the offense has a chance to throw the football.
Minute 10 left to go in the first half. Union Hill trailing 21-0.
That could be unofficial time, so maybe, you know, there was a fear that if he ran the football, it would be the last play. Or whatever the case, you'd like to see him try and give it an effort.
Hoboken has 9 first downs in the first half, and Union Hill has yet to pick up a first down. Paul Giorgio providing the statistics for tonight's game, and now Union Hill will see if they put the ball in the air in an attempt to try to score before the end of the half. Garza will throws it deep downfield. He has his man who can't hang on. That was a good pass, and it bounced right off the chest. I think it was Joel Morrell.
Well, Garza put that ball exactly where it had to be. You can't throw a football better than that. But Union Hill unable again to make that play. And that has to be frustrating. They've been close tonight, just haven't been able to hold on to it.
And that's the same thing Rotundi is asking Garza to do that Stinson asks Scalo to do.
I mean, it's a perfect pass, John. I mean, that's a ball that has to be caught.
I guess the idea of getting into a rhythm for a quarterback can be difficult if you don't get a lot of chances to throw. The same may apply for a receiver if you don't see the football very often.
And you know what? If you don't catch him, you're not going to see the football very often.
Chicken or the egg? That is Leonor, Johnny Leonor.
Because most of the time you'll be on the bench and somebody else will be out there trying to catch the football.
That's when the young man goes back and says, Coach, I don't catch enough passes. He says, well, I don't throw them to you because you don't catch them in the first place.
That's right.
And it may have been a face mask penalty against Hoboken, a 5-yard penalty. That'll help the cause out for the Union Hill Hillers. It's only the second penalty of the evening against Hoboken. That's another thing that they do well. In addition to their special teams and execution of their offense, they do not make mistakes when it comes to penalties.
This is a situation where Union Hill maybe not as comfortable throwing the football, having to throw the football, so you want to try and stay out of a disaster play here, John.
It's Leonor, right side. Reyes holding on for a ride and then helping out. There's Ladson, Quater Ladson making the tackle. 6 foot, 185 pounds.
And what you like about this Hoboken defense, it's 21-0. It's a passing situation, but you got 2 players, Reyes and Ladson, who do not get faked out by the call, and both make good tackles. And you know they're not thinking about anything but what they're supposed to do on that play. They're supposed to watch the run, and that's what they did.
Well, if you're Coach Joe Rotundi, you have to try to keep your kids up. You're only down scoreboard-wise 21-0, but for everybody watching, Union Hill without a first down, they've really struggled on offense, and Hoboken in complete control of this football game.
Well, Hoboken obviously coming in here with a little chip on their shoulders. I mean, let's face it, they lost for the first time in 6 years in the regular season. And a little angry probably, and unfortunately for Joe Rotundi, their former coach, they would not like nothing better than to come in here and beat their former coach. They don't want to lose to their former coach, their assistant coach. So a little emotional ride for Hoboken, and I'm sure Joe will talk to his boys and have his kids come out and fight hard in the second half.
Question before the game was, how would Hoboken respond after that first loss and the 29-game winning streak having been snapped? The answer through the first 24 minutes, very well, thank you very much. We're at halftime here at Pet Novotny Field, Roosevelt Stadium. The score, the Hoboken Red Wings 21, the Union Hill Hillers nothing.
Well, Joe Rotundi told me at halftime, we just did not execute the way we need to beat a Hoboken football team. He liked some of the positions that he had his team in. He thought maybe they could capitalize, but they weren't able to catch a pass or make a play And he said it's all about character. He wants to see his team develop some character. He wants to get him in a weight room. You know, he got this job late, as it was, taking over this program for Union Hill. And he believes that, obviously, it's going to take some time. They're young. But he wants to see his team come out and fight in the second half, because that's how you build character, and that's something you can point to as the season goes on. How you respond in difficult situations. Do you quit, or do you come back and fight hard?
Well, we'll see what they have in store for the second half. Robert Pena to kick off. Good, strong kick down to the 10-yard line, where it's taken by Quader Ladson. And Quader Ladson able to break a tackle, and he's out across the 30-yard line, down at the 34.
To the 35, first and 10, Hoboken.
So we'll probably see what we saw a lot of in the first half, John, and that is Jose Valdez running the football, a new secret weapon for this Hoboken team. Not bad when you can have an injury to one of your talented running backs, as Sosa apparently was injured and all of a sudden got healthy on a 26-yard pass from Gallo. But obviously Sosa coming into this game was banged up, missed last week's game against Passaic Tech. He's their feature back, and Ed Stinson says, okay, Juan, it's your turn to run the football, and comes out and responds. Has a great first half, and all of a sudden Hoboken has another player to shoulder the load.
And shouldering the load to start the second half is Valdez again. Tackled at the 40-yard line. It was German Valencia making the tackle for the Hillers.
And how many times do we see that where a kid gets an opportunity who maybe is playing behind or playing beside another very talented player, and when something happens to that player, he gets a chance to take over and comes out and has a tremendous effort. And that's credit to this Hoboken team, where they have those type of players, those type of athletes. One guy goes down, another guy picks it up.
Great system and great depth. Leonor and Munoz actually got the big hits there, and
Valencia again. And we talked about Valencia in the first half, the big nose guard. He got hurt earlier in the season. He got chopped in the St. Peter's prep game, and unfortunately he hurt his left knee, and he wasn't able to play up to his past the last couple of weeks. And he finally tonight felt good about playing at about 100%, and Union Hill really happy to see him back at that nose guard position. They feel they have an advantage in the middle of that defense when he's playing over the center.
well, he'll take a break as he heads to the sideline on the 3rd down and 2, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a first down. It looks like Union Hill's defense is held on the 3rd and short.
Well, this is what Joe Rotundi wanted from his troops. They wanted to see how they would respond coming out in the second half, and they've come out fighting, and they forced Hoboken to punt, I believe, for the first time tonight.
Well, actually, it's the second time.
Okay.
The first time leading to a touchdown, ultimately.
AC Forster tries the right side, and Jose Nunez was there. Looks like Jerry Leonor banged up a little bit. And Jerry coming into this game with a bum ankle. Hopefully he did not re-aggravate that injury. He's pointing down by his knee, though, so it might be a new injury for Jerry, as he appears to be okay.
Well, here's a chance for Union Hill. Back at the 20-yard line is Gabe Arojo and John Michael Rodriguez, two very good athletes. Arojo, maybe the most athletic player on the team. And that punt is blocked. Someone got a piece, and it's going to be picked up by Union Hill. Leonor at the 30-yard line. Big play by the special teams.
So obviously Joe Rotundi got the message across to his team in that locker room at halftime, as I think Carlos Azura might have got a piece of it, John.
I think you're right. That's some signs of life from the Hillers.
Again, Joe told me coming out that he wanted to see if his team had any character and if they were going to come out and fight. And ball bounced, they took a great bounce to John Leonor, and John, being a running back, knew exactly what to do with it. And obviously, if not for a tackle there by Hoboken, that could have been 6.
1st and 10 from the 30-yard line.
Looked like Ralph Santiago made the tackle, finally, for Hoboken.
2 minutes, 11 seconds gone by, third quarter. Union Hill looking to break through for the first time. Leonor cuts it up inside, then bounces outside, and then bounces on the turf.
John, I think Leonor's fine. I think he's okay now. As Jerry comes back in the game, it didn't look like his knee was bothering him at all. Nice quick run, and I think, Union Hill was a little embarrassed by their effort in the first half to this good Hoboken team. And, they shouldn't be embarrassed. They're playing, obviously, one of the best programs in the state of New Jersey. But the difference is that their football coach coached at Hoboken for 15 years, and they do not want their head coach to be embarrassed tonight.
7-yard gain on first down. Maybe call it 6. I'll make it 2nd and 4. That's Leonor right side. You can hear the pads popping. That's going to be a first down. The first down of the night for Union Hill.
Well, the Leonor brothers have a lot of pride. They were sophomores at this program 2 years ago when Union Hill was a state perennial power, when his brother Heathcliff Leonor set a record here in Union City for touchdowns in a season and was an all-state football player. So, they remember what it was like winning here in Union City on a regular basis. And they came out here in the second half, a little fire in their belly, John, and they want to prove that they're a better football team than this 21-0 score right now.
After the first down, Munoz right up the gut, trying to keep that defense honest. Hoboken equal to the task.
And let's face it, these kids know. I mean, they know their head coach, Joe Rotundi, who decided to take this job late and is now their head coach and is now trying to build a program here, a model program with one that he has seen, firsthand in Hoboken, being the assistant coach there for 15 years. They know how important this means to him and how emotional a game this is, and they want to come out in the second half and show their coach that, hey, coach, we're here with you. We're going to fight with you tonight.
Whatever Rotundi said in the locker room, it has gotten through to the Hillers. 2nd and 7. Munoz bounces it outside. He's a big back. He will not make his living on the speed game.
No, he had a little of an opening outside. I thought maybe he could get to the corner, man, to the sideline. But that just shows you the speed of this Hoboken defense, as Foster was able, with a guy on him, to kind of knock off the blocker and bring down Jose, like you said, will not probably win many races in the 50-yard dash.
Well, you always talk about east-west and north-south. That young man is definitely made out to be a north-south runner.
And one that you probably do not want to get in the way of when he's running north-south.
So it makes it 3rd down and 7. 7:10 to go in the third quarter. 21-0. Hoboken on top, but Union Hill threatening for the first time tonight. And they give it to Jerry Leonor. Foot race outside. And Leonor heading toward the end zone. Let's see. Touchdown!
Hey, good job by Jerry Leonor. All Jerry on that play, as he really wanted the end zone. That was 100% effort, John, as he fought for that end zone. And somehow, some way, he was able to find a pay dirt.
15-yard touchdown run by Jerry Leonor, who moments ago looked like he could barely walk.
Yeah, I think they think two can play at that game as far as injuries are concerned in tonight's football game.
Robert Pena in to kick the extra point. Garza will hold. And the extra point is up and good. And the Union Hill Hillers have awoken. It's now a 14-point ball game.
So now Union Hill's defense came on the field first. They set the tone. They were able to stop Hoboken's offense, forcing the punt right away. Took that ball and a real good drive, ran hard, and watch Jerry Leonor. Gets this football, doesn't waste any time once he bounces it outside, and it's just a foot race. And he's battling that Hoboken defense, who's very quick, and he has an excellent nose for the end zone. As somehow he got in. You're going to see it coming right into your living room now, as it was just a foot race. He picked up a good block up front, and just Jerry wants this badly. I saw him on the sidelines at halftime screaming at his troops, we got to come back in this game, and that is an effort, John.
That effort good for 6 points. The extra point makes it 7. The drive, 7 plays, 34 yards. And now Leonor with 5 carries and 35 yards on the evening. Thank you, Paul Giorgio, as the Hillers really not showing a lot of life in the first half. Now, it's only a 14-point ball game. If you want to go back, that play to Sosa at the end of the first half was very large. It's not as good a kickoff from Pena, but Hoboken has a hard time trying to pick it up, and man alive, was that dangerous.
I thought the Hoboken player down. Looks like it's Reyes. He's okay. He's up. And you're right. That could have been another break for Union Hill. This ball bounced around. It looked like Valdez couldn't pick it up. But the ball bounced Hoboken's way.
Would have been the second consecutive big special teams play for Union Hill. Now their defense with some vim and vigor.
Looks like Giovanni Sosa off on the right-hand side. You know, talking to Joe Rotundi at halftime, I said, was he surprised to see Mr. Sosa catch that pass? He goes, no, not really, because I've coached him, and I know he's a tough kid, and I know he's been hurt, but that means nothing. I told the kids that he can still beat us, and we've got to watch out for him. So he wasn't buying it.
As of right now, he's involved in the biggest play of the game. The popping continues, and you can just hear the difference in the intensity as you can, the sound of the popping of the pads resonating throughout the stadium.
Kind of makes you glad we're up here where it's kind of safe, don't you? You're right, Union Hill coming out with a much better effort, and they want to hit somebody right now.
It is a first down for Hoboken, and it's Sosa. So Hoboken now realizing that Union Hill has some life and gotten back into the game just a little bit. They're starting to go back to their money man, Giovanni Sosa.
Hey, you see the back of Athletic Director Tony Lupo here at Union Hill. Does a great job. The Athletic Director making sure that everything is working safely and always rolling out the red carpet for us when we come to Roosevelt Stadium.
We certainly appreciate. Red Wings continue to keep the football on the ground. Valdez gets the call this time across the 40, down at the 41.
You know, I didn't have an opportunity to talk as you see the replay here. Good defense again by Union Hill. I didn't have an opportunity to talk to Ed Stinson, the head coach of Hoboken, at halftime, and that's because Mr. Stinson had some bad food before the game, and he is feeling very sick right now and not feeling better until this play.
Sosa cuts it back, still on his feet. Sosa's popped forward, but Giovanni Sosa has a first down at the 33-yard line.
Well, he took a hit, but he kept on ticking as Giovanni Sosa shows why he has been a featured back here at Hoboken this season. Missed last week's game, but looks like as the second half starts that he's getting back to form. Good blocking up front, and all he needs a little crack, and he's off to the races, and finally cuts back.
Up the middle they go again. That's looked like Valdez. You see Coach Stinson.
Yeah, Coach Stinson, a different shade, a different color right now on that sideline. He's coaching and he's battling too because he is actually not feeling very well. Was rather sick at halftime underneath the locker room.
Even more incentive to keep the football on the ground. Giovanni Sosa gets it from Gallo. Stood up at the 26.5-yard line. They'll be shy of a first down by about 3 yards.
I guess if you're a football coach, you can't expect the boys to go out and play hard if you're sick and you don't come back onto the field. That's a bad precedent.
Gonna lead by example.
And he has led by example here. This program is a model program for inner city schools, for any type of school, because what they've been able to do here, they've been able to teach their kids about life and about moving on after football and about being successful when they're in high school. And I think that as we see movement, and I think that's important, there are no excuses at Hoboken High School. As now, Ed Stinson is the principal at Hoboken High School, but there are no excuses, John. He expects his players to get it done in the classroom, or they don't play. And he doesn't only want them to get it done in the classroom, he wants them to excel in the classroom. And I can't tell you how many times he's had students who may have come into Hoboken maybe not ready to go to college, but after they played football at Hoboken High School, they're not only ready for college, but they have qualified and have been academically eligible. And it's one thing to have great athletes, but it's another thing to make them great students, and that's what he's done here.
Foster tries his luck.
Because let's face it, John, today's society, kids, they want to be, they watch television, they want to be like pro athletes, they want to play the game, and how many kids are staying home and devoting so much time into athletics that they devote that much time into their schoolwork? Well, at Hoboken, you don't study, you don't play.
And one of the kickbacks of being a good student athlete and performing for this man's team is you get an opportunity as a high-profile program to be on Cablevision, to be on Madison Square Garden, a bit of a reward for the guys that meet the high standard that Ed Stinson sets. Valdez, quick hitter up the middle, and he is tripped up at the 10-yard line. He should have a Hoboken first down.
And there's even a greater reward besides winning championships year after year. If you're good enough, the coaches all over the country will come down to Hoboken and offer you a scholarship because they know that you will qualify and that you will be able to meet the academic work that you have to do on the college level. Let's face it, he had two players last year, Carlos Perez and Terrell Dortch. One goes to Florida, one goes to Michigan State. I mean, both in the same team on the same year.
Sosa, run down from behind by German Valencia, gains 4 on the play. Hoboken eating up the clock here. There's only 2:15 to go in the third quarter, and after Union Hill got a shot in the arm and a touchdown to get within 14, Hoboken is answering right back.
Well, this is the way they play football. Hold on to the football, grind it out, and keep their defense off the field. Getting back to Carlos Perez for a second, how many times does a Florida school come up to New Jersey and Hudson County and take a wide receiver, out of a program that really doesn't throw the football that much? So it was a compliment to Hoboken High School and that Florida and Steve Spurrier needs a wide receiver, and they come up to Hudson County here in New Jersey.
Valdez, he is spun down. Jose Madera made the tackle, makes it 3rd and 5. And that's true because
my point being is Florida has so much talent.
Right.
Down there, they don't need to come up to New Jersey and recruit athletes.
Right.
So he had to be a special player.
There are schools that don't even consider New Jersey, which is a good football area, but because their feeling is, I know Tommy Bowden at Clemson, he refuses to come up here because he feels if he can't get it done down there, he's not going to get it done.
Well, Florida thinks they got a special player, and I know that Michigan State got a special player, an all-state halfback, Terrell Dortch. Remember the name. He's playing for Michigan State right now as a backup at halfback. You may be hearing of his name on Sundays sometime in the future.
Another big 3rd down play. They're going to give it to Valdez. Nothing doing. Carlos Azoria making the stop.
Well, Carlos, if anything, tonight has come out on a mission to hit. He has really put that 4-on-4 and that helmet into some white jerseys tonight. He may not get them right away, but when he gets them, they feel it. He was right into the backfield that time. And let's face it, Jose Valdez had nowhere to run.
Alvaro Hassini will come in to attempt a 27-yard field goal. Good snap and kick. And that one is good. So Hoboken doesn't get the 6 they wanted, but they get 3. And they're able to answer points with points. It's now 24-7.
Well, Hoboken needed to respond after Union Hill came out with that touchdown drive. But if you're Union Hill, John, that's something you can build on. You're a young team, and Hoboken drives the length of the field, and you stiffen up, you play tough, and you hold them to a field goal. Obviously, you don't want to give up any points, but it's something that he's trying to build here, a character, a nastiness, an attitude. And that's not all built in 1 year, it's not all built in 2 months, and it's not even built sometimes in 2 or 3 years. But it has to start somewhere.
That field goal on the high school level, 80% of the time is an absolute adventure.
Yeah.
And for Hoboken, that's a gimme. Just a reflection of the organization. And there are other teams in Hudson County that are right up there in terms of how successful they've been in their organizational skills. As it's Corojo who will return it. He's an excellent athlete, as we mentioned. And he slips down at the 24-yard line.
No, you're right. We've seen some great teams in Hudson County over the last 5 years, 10 years, with St. Peter's and North Bergen sharing the glory But there's been one constant, and that's been Hoboken. Now,
You see Arroyo, he's a senior. He's a guy with a lot of ability.
First and 10.
Coach Rotundi wants him to get some of the fundamentals down. Football, not only athletic ability, you have to really know the game and be prepared, know the plays, and do the little things.
no, he's trying to teach him his brand of football, and it sometimes takes a little longer than the kids are ready to absorb.
Leonor will now line up on the left side. And it goes to his brother Jerry. And Jerry out to the 28. Check that, that's John. Jerry blocking for John.
That's only fair, as the brothers share duties. Keeps the family happy.
Well, Union Hill found themselves down 21-0 at the break. They had the football only one time. They got some points, but they still trail after 3. It's Hoboken 24 and Union Hill 7. Watching a hard-hitting high school football game, and the Hillers down by 17. Certainly not giving up anything. Second down and 5. And they're going to try the left side again. Similar play to what they did on the final play of the third quarter. Not nearly the success.
Now it looked like for Hoboken, number 74, Ralph Pentagon was the first guy there. And not a lot of success. You know, you've mentioned the name a couple times, and that's Joseph Pep Novotny, the former head coach at Emerson High School here in Union City. Coached here for most of the decade in the 1900s. It seemed like he was here for more than 40 years, and his last year was my last year, so I got to see him at the end of his coaching career, and a very special man, one who gave his life to the career of coaching, and taught a lot of boys and girls at Emerson High School what it was like to be a winner, and he's well missed. He's well missed.
Third down and 5, and Garza is going to keep it, and he might have lost the football.
And Garza on the keeper.
Well, the shot we got a couple of seconds ago, and you talked about the young men that Coach Pep Novotny molded into adults. What would Pep Novotny have done with young Beatrice Proenza, a female senior split-end and safety?
Well, I'll tell you what, she probably wouldn't be throwing the ball much or catching it if she played under Pep, because Pep believed in running the football an awful lot.
As Pena kicks this one way out of bounds. He's had a good night kicking the football, but that one, not one to write home about. But that shows you how much things have changed since the days of the legend Pep Novotny.
I once said to Pep, "Coach, how come we don't pass the football?" And he said, "That's because 2 things can happen when you throw the football. 3 things can happen when you throw the football, and 2 of them are bad." I said, "I got to try to figure this out now."
He's got a point.
Hoboken takes over on the
10:32 to go here in the fourth quarter. 24-7, Hoboken on top. As you see, Beatrice, young Miss Proenza, holding her own with the boys. And you're talking about hearkening to the past. There was a day and age when that simply would not even be allowed. Whether or not it was possible, Sosa is knocked down. It's a good play by Munoz.
Yeah, Jose Munoz shot right in and was able to trip up Sosa. There you see, he tried to cut it back, and as he cuts back, number 1, Munoz said, and he got some help from his nose guard pal, Valencia. So Union Hill playing a lot tougher, a lot more spirited on defense. I'm sure that will make Joe Rotundi happy when he looks at the second half of the film. I don't think he's going to be too pleased when he watches the first half on Monday and Tuesday.
Much better 12 minutes in the third quarter than the first 24 for Union Hill. Valdez jumps past the would-be tackler and is down at the 40-yard line.
Somehow he found a way to find a hole there on the left-hand side and hop through it. You see Gallo giving it to Valdez. Looked like right now he might be brought down. Can't tell who that blocker was, but that was a pretty good block. enabling him to bounce it outside.
The thing that kills you against Hoboken, Union Hill down 21-0.
I think it was Reyes, but
They scored on their only possession in the third quarter. They only got one possession. You needed at least 3 after the first half, down 21-0, and they are just chewing up the clock. They fake it to Reyes.
well, it's the old coaching philosophy. We have the football. You can't score, usually, and our offense stays on the field. We control the game.
And they are controlling the game.
And that is always the best defense. Another good tackle up front. Obviously, he's come to play tonight, and that's Carlos Azura, number 44, who he and Jerry Leonore have been on numerous tackles tonight for that Union Hill defense. You know they got to be tired.
4th down and 3, so the Union Hill defense is held, and a chance for Radigan to pin Union Hill as he did early on in the first quarter. And this punt will bounce at the 15 and go out of bounds around the 13-yard line, where Union Hill will take over with 8:08 to go in quarter number 4.
You know, to get back to a point before, John, for a second, you know, when I was saying that if you don't study, you don't play for Hoboken, well, obviously it's like that at every school. If you don't study, you don't play. But they just seem to have, Ed Stinson is a teacher first and then a coach, and he seems to have a different attitude when it comes to making sure his kids do well in the classroom. He doesn't want them to just do well. He wants them to succeed and excel.
And you can just see the way his players comport themselves on the field. There's no taunting. You get very few penalties and certainly very few careless penalties. You're not a team that goes out there recklessly, a very organized bunch. And it has to do with the discipline that's handed down from up above. And up above at Hoboken High School is Ed Stinson. Leonore, after the fake to Munoz. And that's one spot where they have not had any success, and that's outside. We want to remind everybody watching this telecast that this copyrighted telecast of high school football is a production of Cablevision Sports. Any reproduction or retransmission of this telecast without the express written consent of Cablevision is strictly prohibited. Do you have any plans on reproducing the telecast?
No.
Don't do it.
And I don't think Union Hill does either at this point. They might not watch it again on Monday.
2nd down and 7. Man goes in motion. And it's going to be Leonore. So Union Hill not getting crazy. I'll check that. That was Munoz. But not going crazy. Not getting desperate, throwing the football around and really burying themselves. They're sticking to the game plan.
And you want to give your kids a chance. You know, you don't want to start doing things that you're not accustomed to doing. As you see, Munoz was tackled by 2 on 1 that time, literally. But, you know, they're not a team that is going to go back and throw the ball 13 times a game. They're not a team that's going to spread it open, wide open. So, you know, they're going to play what they do and try and get better at doing it, instead of trying to do something they don't do well, and then maybe the game gets out of hand.
And the team maybe heads back a little bit demoralized, and let's face it, what they're trying to do is build for the future. They're playing a team that has been doing what they're doing for some time now.
And it's what coaches do. I mean, they have to point out the positives, John. First half, 21-0. They'll forget about the first half. Say, look what we did in the second half. Second half is 7-3.
They made a big special teams play, and they drove the football in and capitalized on a 34-yard drive. With 7 minutes to go, Union Hill down by 17. And it's been a good, solid game all around. Good, clean game. Neither team penalized very much. Only 2 penalties against Hoboken and 5 against Union Hill. And that is low for a high school football game, especially in Hudson County. Well, Garza's going to throw it, and just out of the reach of the would-be intended receiver, Carlos Osoria. And that'll make it 3rd down and 6. Check that, 4th down and 6. Well, let's take a peek at the MSG Daily News Top 10, and you see those highlighted in yellow, the teams from New Jersey. And we want to thank Mike Quick.
And this, obviously a first, because it's the first time you don't see Hoboken anywhere near the top 10 in the last 10 years.
And they may be back there before the year is over, but this is a young team. They lost 10 starters last year. And the kid from Pena, who has had a bit of a rough time his last two punts, has that one go out of bounds. But that's one of the things, that talking to Coach Stinson before the game, the one constant, of course, on high school level sports and also in college, the players constantly overturn, but Ed Stinson, see, feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, I guess that bad food he had before the game is out of his system somehow.
But the one constant is the coach.
You know, I was hoping I wasn't the reason he got sick. I went down to talk to him at halftime, and he all of a sudden got sick on me, and I was, you know, feeling a little bad about it. I thought maybe I brought out the worst in him.
So we're going to take a look at the top 10 in the county in just a second after Ralph Gallo runs his plays. We're halfway through the fourth quarter. Sosa looking pretty good on the injured wheel, cuts it back, and now he's got a lot of room as he cuts it inside. Then he's bumped down at the 37-yard line.
And if it sounds like a broken record, Osorio again on the tackle.
And a little bit extra after the play. Let's take a look at the top 10 in Hudson County. This is the Star Ledger as of the 25th, and Hoboken still rated first. St. Peter's Prep, who seems to get better with each passing week, and they own at 5-1. And the Lincoln Lions, coached by our statistician Paul Giorgio, and your alma mater, the Emerson Bulldogs.
I tell you, Bayonne is the real sleeper there. I think they might be the most talented team in Hudson County.
I don't think too many would argue about that. This handoff goes right up the gut, and boy, are they going to really want to get back that second half against St. Peter's Prep. They dominated completely the first half, but Prep's defense bent and didn't break, and Prep went back into the locker room, made some adjustments. A couple guys got banged up from Bayonne, and Prep comes back and wins the game, the only loss of the season for the Bayonne Bees.
Forster carrying it up the middle for Hoboken. You talk about tough losses. How about Union Hill 2 weeks ago playing Marist, leading the football game with 4 seconds to go. Their quarterback rolls out, throws a pass to the back of the end zone, and Union Hill lost that game. And those games just really, really kill you as a coach.
3rd down and 2 with 4:40 to go. And it's going to be Taquan Foster. Foster's got the first down, and Foster on his way toward the end zone. Foster is down, and is he in? No. He's down at the 1-yard line.
Well, that's what makes Hoboken such a tough team to defense. The beginning of the game start off featuring Juan Valdez, and then they start going to Giovanni Sosa, and now they finish the game with, you know, Foster, who really did a great job exploding down the left-hand side and got tripped up before getting into the end zone. So a lot of weapons, and if not for a good tackle by Rivera, that would have been a touchdown.
Well, this game, not only a big American Conference matchup, but also has some implications statewide. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. And it's Foster up the gut, and Foster has himself a touchdown.
So Ed Stinson rewarding his fullback after he carried down the left-hand side and just missed getting it in the end zone. He said, "You deserve it, and go get it." You know, they may have lost last week, John, but it's about championships down here. They're still in the position to win another American, as you see, as a bounce snap.
And they almost threw it in.
They're in position to win another American Conference championship here in Hudson County, and that would be number 7. So they've won 7 straight so far, so trying to go for their 8th. And also trying to win another state championship this year, though. They find themselves in the Group 2 division rather than the Group 3 division, where they've had some legendary battles with Ramapo and Wayne Valley.
Now, let's take a look at this 1-yard touchdown run.
Didn't have far to go. And give credit to the guys up front as they won the battle there in the middle of the line. Just gave enough for Foster to dive over.
Well, let's take a look at the PowerPoint situation. You mentioned Hoboken, Group 2. We'll start off with Weehawken, number 6 in North Jersey, Group 1 with 21 points. Hoboken, number 1 in their group, and they'll get some more points tonight. And you see Group 4 spread out pretty nice. A lot of representation from Hudson County. So Hoboken can pick up a bunch of points against the Union Hill team that's worth a bunch.
John Michael Rodriguez and Dave Morales deep.
You know, I don't know what's louder, the speaker at Shea Stadium or the speaker here at Roosevelt Stadium.
Well, you had to bring that up, huh? Rahu is tackled down at the 21-yard line.
I mean, I thought it was loud at Shea Stadium. This speaker has got to be, they're probably installed by the same company.
As you take a look at the kickoff return again.
And I have a headset on, John, and it's still loud.
This is, I mean, it's hard to explain to the folks at home, but this is definitely an awkward location to broadcast from. And we certainly appreciate the hospitality, but it's an old place, and we are up at about the 20-yard line in the far left corner behind the brick wall.
Yeah, you really, somebody's trying to send us a message. Hey, see, we got the Cleveland Indian seats.
And you're wondering why every so often we don't know what the heck is going on. We have to get the play-by-play from a carrier pigeon as Leonor strung out.
3:49 to go here in the fourth quarter. Union Hill and Hoboken having some memorable battles the last couple of years. But tonight, it's been all Hoboken. And again, Union Hill, a young team also, so they're just trying to get it all straight and what kind of system Joe Rotundi wants them to play and how he wants them to do things.
Garza back to pass. He's looking deep downfield, and it's going to be intercepted. It's picked off by Ira Bell Guilford. Guilford still on his feet, and he's down at the 27-yard line. First turnover of the game by either team.
Well, you know, it was a pass that he tried to throw to two Red Wing defenders and wasn't able to get it past the second one.
First and 10, Hoboken from the Union Hill 27.
As you see, Danny goes back to pass, looking right, then looks left, and then he just changed it up and went across the field. He got hit also, and we talked about that before, John. When you try and do things that you're not used to doing, most of the time it doesn't work out the way you want it to.
And when a team is not particularly adept at passing the football, and then you have to do it in obvious passing situations, it makes it that much more difficult.
And I assure you that this is not a comfortable position. Who has not only coached with him, but he coached as a player. You know, was a member of his first state championship team back in early 1980, and now coaches against him for the first time on the opposite side. So, you know, he's as close to family as you can be, for instance, and that is Joe Rotundi. So, I'm sure this was an emotional game for him this week also, but he needed to see his team get back to where they were before last week's loss, and, you know, he needed to get a good effort from his team tonight, and that's what he got. But I'm sure he doesn't feel 100% happy about the way he beat his old friend tonight.
Well, they really, when you think about it, it wasn't a particularly pretty performance, but they did exactly what they needed to do. They scored almost every time they touched the football. I think they only punted twice, and they chewed up a lot of the clock. As you see Joe Rotundi, he's certainly not totally unhappy with this effort. He knows who he's going up against.
And he knows there'll be another day.
It's Ralph Santiago getting the carry. Second straight for Ralph as Ed Stinson shuffles in a couple of the players that don't ordinarily get to carry the football. As we now have 89 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter, I guess we have to start thinking about our Cablevision players of the game.
Well, I would think that Juan Valdez would probably be a good pick, as he controlled most of the ball carries early in this game, and then Giovanni Sosa came on late. And I think for Union Hill, two players that were around the football all night, Jerry Leonore and your buddy there, number 44, Carlos Azora.
Well, what do you think?
Well, Jerry scored a touchdown, so you know how we like numbers.
He got 6, so, and he had 7 tackles at halftime. As you see the clock winding down, as Hoboken will graciously take a knee and let the clock run down on a 30-7 contest. The only blemish tonight, or 2 blemishes really for Hoboken, a blocked punt and a missed extra point. So other than that, a very efficient effort from the Red Wings. They will move to 6-1, and Union Hill will drop to 2-5. And that will be the final play of the contest. Clock still ticking with 10 seconds, but the teams begin to exit the playing field and head toward their respective sidelines as they'll get ready to exchange handshakes, as Ed Stinson has to be satisfied. His team dealing, as you said, for many of them, maybe all of them, their first loss ever in their high school football careers on the varsity level, and they bounce back very nicely.
And now they'll try and move on with the rest of their season as they inch closer to another American Conference Championship and try and win their first Group 2 state championship.
And the success they had on the higher, more difficult level, Group 3, you would think they'd be a fairly good bet at Group 2, as you see head coach and former assistant now exchanging a couple laughs, and they both came out of this game and got, I'd say for the most part, what they wanted.
You have to understand there's a lot of time spent between these two guys in the coaching room for the last 15 years. You know, people don't understand how many hours goes into coaching, and these high school coaches spend a lot of time. They spend more time together than maybe they do their own families, and that's what they are right now. They're a sense of family.
You see a lot of bad blood on occasion on the high school level, which is quite silly, I think, but there's a situation with 2 men with mutual respect and admiration, and probably a lot of love, good friends for a long time, and as you said, spending that time in the coaching room, boy oh boy, it's not easy, and they have a bond, and they respect each other.
It's a little easier when you win here, though, I'll tell you that.
Keep rolling that film over and over.
It's a lot more enjoyable.
You don't have to worry about the Cablevision disclaimer and rerunning the tape, but what we're going to do is these two teams shake hands, and you see, even the kids on Union Hill, they know they put forth a good effort, just came up short. Sometimes you just don't have the weaponry to get the job done, and they gave it 100%. 100% came up a little bit short, but that is not what it's all about.
Well, there was a time where these two schools did have a lot of bad blood, and you really had to watch to see at a time like this if something was going to get out of control. But that will not happen anymore when these two teams play each other, because there's a lot of respect on both sidelines for the coaching staffs, and that'll rub off with the players.
Well, we're going to take a break as Anthony gets situated down on the sidelines. He will get the victorious head coach Ed Stinson, as well as the Cablevision player of the game from Hoboken, Juan Valdez. You see your final